the homeless church service. I got here about an hour ago. I went through the homeless area. I talked to people. I went to actually three separate areas where there were homeless. And I'm not sure I'm going to do a long video here because I've got a couple of people coming from our church who are going to help, Sammy and Chucky. And they're on the way here, and they have like food. They have distribution of clothing. So we have three separate areas of houseless groups in this small area, and two of the groups kind of know each other and they get along and they communicate, and then there's another group which is kind of a separate group, and they have like a fence around their area, a maid. I'm going to show you the area actually, if you don't mind. I got to see how to switch the camera angle because I'm using the telephone, and oh well, I can just show you with my camera like this. So they have a wooden fence here, and then they have toilets there, and they have we've been meeting here. I've been doing a church here for about the past 3 to 4 months, and then we had a month to a month and a half where we didn't have church service because they had COVID-19 virus. They had 5 people in the camp who had it, and they closed the camp down to outsiders, to visitors, including us. And that was fine, but we're starting back up. This is our second Saturday church service. I actually had 3 women who were sitting here with me, and I did praise and worship with them myself. It's just me now at this moment. I did praise and worship starting at 10 a.m. and the time now is 11 p.m. And then I did a Bible, and I talked about the Bible verse. And one woman was very, wanted to talk a lot. She talked about people who mock. You know, I did a Bible verse where they're talking about mockers. And she said, yeah, I get mocked. Was really good. They experience one of their family, you know, or they don't. They're friendly to you, but that doesn't mean that they accept you. Some kind of treated in a friendly way, they think that they're really accepted, but that's really different and polite to you. But ohana is a different kind of feeling. They invite you in their place where they live. They give you their food. They treat you like a family member. So that's I believe God has to open that door for that to happen, and I believe it is happening. And because I've been praying for the people here for about 3 years now, and I came over to do ministry in this area a year ago, and know me. They really know that we love them and care for them, and we have a couple more people from the church coming here. They're on their way here now. For work purposes, they have to get COVID tested every week, every Saturday. So that means that they're not able to get right on time, but they're bringing over clothes to distribute. And so there was a kind of amazing thing happened. You know, I live in a nice place just up the road, 10 minutes away by walking, very close to this houseless camp. And I really felt in my heart that I need to really put my energy here, not just every Saturday or every Saturday, but also come over because, you know, it is really, I'm well respected here, and I'm accepted. And so that you can't put a price on that. That's something that Jesus Christ has to do. He has to open those doors. And I feel that in my heart. So I need to really come over on a regular basis and do outreach here, do ministry among these people. And so I'll just share with you a few things that happened that was really a surprise to me. So I went to the bus stop to take the bus here about an hour and a half before this started, the church service, around 9 o'clock, say. And there were two Hawaiians sitting there at the bus stop. One got on the bus. They knew each other, older men, and one was sitting with his friend. And then the man who got on the bus, who was waiting for the bus, he said, "You're the pastor." Now, I didn't know these men. I hadn't recognized them at all. And he knew immediately I was a pastor. And I told him yes. And I said, "I'm going to the church service." So I was surprised about them. I'm known in this area, apparently, to some people, even though they don't know me. And then he got on the bus and we had a good chat. And a man who was his friend who was with him, who wasn't taking the bus, he started sharing with me and he started crying. He talked about his family and love. And he just went and talked a lot. He talked about God, and he had been homeless himself at one time, but now he has a house and he has a place to live in. And he had been homeless, and he talked about what it was like to be homeless. Very nice man. He said that, he was his backpack, he was robbed constantly on the street and got beaten and things like that. That's very common to the homeless. And so he shared about that. And I was like, yeah, I understand, because I work with these people and I also have those own things happen to me. So then I got his phone number and name. So I said, okay, I'm going to stay in contact with you. And but just the way he was sharing, I could tell, I just let him talk. I could tell that he had not been able to talk about what happened hardly ever, maybe ever. And I just let him talk and talk. And finally, hey, even though it's just me, I had a church service with some ladies and I'm still committed. Okay. God bless you. Yeah. And there's a man, he's been very friendly to me. He lives in that house right there, that kind of with a 10, and he's going somewhere with his cart. And so anyway, I'll talk later about what they have to do to live here, and the difficulties, and also the good points. The people here are very nice. I like people here a lot. They're very nice to me. And so anyway, going back, I was talking about how there were really miracles, because we've had some things happen with the team that has been coming here. This is from our church. Half the team stopped coming. The worship team with live music, guitar, and the senior pastor. And they just stopped, and they gave reason for it. But basically that made it so that 3 people who were kind of team leaders, including myself, and then their family members. And so we're going to talk about the ouch. God is doing something different. That's what I can say. And with the people who need to be doing it. So as I got off the bus, I was surprised. I got off the bus stop, which is actually, it's a stop before I normally get off, where the houseless camp is. So I don't normally get off, and I wasn't really paying attention. I just got off the stop before. So that's a little park there, and it's nearby the homeless encampment area, houseless encampment area, and all these kids doing sports in this little area. And they had tents, they had parents there, they had people who were leading it. And I've been involved in recreation all my life. I really know when something's working and when it's not working. For example, there's a sport ministry that comes here on this houseless camp area, and I'm just going to make it simple. It doesn't work well, okay, from my viewpoint. But they come, okay, and they don't get much activity at all. But this place, it was really being done properly. So I went over and I talked to the guy who's in charge, and he's a Christian. He told me that his little group prays before they do the outreach. It's the Police Athletic League sponsors it. And they had a lot of people there. They had probably between 100 to 150 people. It had good parental support. was well organized. They were doing basketball. They were doing other sports. The ages are from 5 to 14. And it's every Saturday. And I thought, oh boy, and they really want me to come. So I got the organizer's name and number, and I'm going to call him and how we can make that work a little bit better. So then on kind of a back way, and I've been doing ministry. There's 3 different houseless groups in this area of this. It's called Boat Harbor, and I know all of them. 2 I know really well. 1 I somewhat know. And I went over to this group, and no one reaches out to the 3 groups at all. So I went over there. I've been feeding them. I started feeding them about 9 months ago, and I did it for 3 or 4 months because I had access to food. But then that stopped, and so that group knows me, and they were really happy. Some of the people there were really happy to see me, and they remembered me. And then, of course, that means that I'm accepted to the others who don't know me because, they said, yeah, we know him. He was coming here, And I'm the only one that was really, as far as I know, doing the outreach there. So now it's growing. That particular area is growing. I like the people, but they're a different kind of mentality. They really appreciate when people come and help them because they don't get anybody to help them that I know of. And so that was an open door. And I told them I'm doing the church over here. And they said, well, you can come over here and do the church too. So that was an open door that was unexpected. Very tough area, a tough group, but not really. They basically have nothing, literally nothing. In fact, people in there were starving. I saw a lady, I gave her food in the past. She was actually starving, could hardly walk because her legs were just skin and bone. And then I went to the second group, which is people who live in their cars and their vans. And I talked to one lady there, and she was so happy to see me. And so that's another group, but I don't have such close relationship with them, but I've met them in the past a little bit, and they're just they're nearby. And then I came over to the Houseless camp, which is well developed and has a fence around it, well defined area. And it seems to me that's where we've been doing the church services since November. And seems to me like the numbers here have gone down as far as who's in here. And I really don't know why, to be honest. But they closed the camp for a month to a month and a half because of the virus. We weren't able to come in here. I think it was 4 to 6 weeks in that time frame. So now it's open. I'm here, and my viewpoint on the church service today was I'm just going to come here and pray. I do know 2 other people are coming, at least 2, and from our team, and they actually grew up in this area, but they don't live here now. So their heart is really in this area. And it will surprise people who are watching this to know they actually have their own language in this area. It's called Pidgin English. Now, that if you're not Hawaiian and you don't speak Pidgin English, I don't think you could understand what they're saying. It would be hard. You maybe understand 30% of their conversation, maybe less. They have their own language. So these ladies who grew up here who loved the Lord, started speaking at one church service in their language that the people here know. And immediately there was a bond because people would be walking by and they just stop and look over here because they couldn't believe there were people from outside speaking their language. So that was really cool. And so I'm praying about it now, where to go, how to develop this a little bit better, which groups to go into. What I shared with you earlier was really a miracle, the opening of those doors, because we needed that. And what we were doing here before wasn't really growing the way it should grow before the Lord, in my opinion. The only thing that I miss is the live music. I think that got people to come because they heard drums, they heard guitar, it was loud, and they came over and they sat because they liked the music. And then you'd give a Christ-centered message, you'd pray for people, but we don't have that now. So what I'm thinking about doing is maybe doing a Bluetooth speaker with preloaded music, like worship songs that we know. And then, some of those Bluetooth speakers are very loud, so you could actually get the camp covered, but we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going to talk to the other team leaders today when they come. So yeah, I'm happy that it's all developing. The miracles that happened today were totally unexpected, and they're right next to the tennis court, the other homeless camp, and even children who were meeting that they invited me into. A really great open door for the tennis ministry, because they're working directly with the police athletic league and the Parks and Recreation, which is where the tennis courts are under the Parks and Recreation. And boy, that's like being presented a platter of great food, and you're here, this is what you can have. And it's got all this food on a platter, on a plate, on the table. And so that was good. And I really feel in my heart to come over and to, I'm going to show you the camp again, to come over and to spend more time here. Because even if I move, it's looking good that I'll be moving to another place. But I didn't give up this place because where I had to make a decision. Do I want to live far away, or do I want to live near here and then continue to do the outreach here and do the ministry? And I made the decision, and God made it possible with all the things that I needed. It's looking positive on that I'm going to go forwards and move to an area that's very nearby, but the conditions are better for my family and for me. And so I'm happy about that. And then I can continue to do the outreach. Now, this cat here is a very friendly cat. The animals are really nice. They have a lot of pets because they treat their pets well, and they don't run away. That one was really friendly to me last time I was here. It was friendly and I could pet it, Good. Bring the ice. You don't have electricity here. They have a generator. Some people have like gasoline generators, and but you don't really hear them being run. I'm not really sure why. It could be the noise, the pollution, but they use coolers to keep their food cold. And you saw he had a lot of really big bags of ice. There's a place over there near a restaurant near the boat harbor where they're selling ice. And I'm curious. I'm gonna go over there, see what the price is of big bags of ice. Because I don't think food stamps won't cover that, It's like maybe, I don't know the answer to that. But they have that's good because he's got a way to keep his food cold and his drinks cold. And this lady here, I don't know what happened to her. There was a lady in there who was always attending the church, and she would always sit inside there and inside her house. And something happened. I don't know what happened. I think that might be her dog. I've got to find out what happened to her, because she would sit in there and we ministered, we prayed for her. She accepted the Lord. She knew the Lord before rededicated her life, but she always, actually was part of our church service, which is right next to where we met. And I think that's her dog. And something happened because she was very meticulous about how she took care of everything. And the gate is down. And the only way that gate is like that is someone get down. And I've got to find out what happened to her, because so we pray for her. Oh, okay, maybe she is there. I saw somebody's inside the tent. Okay, good, very good. But I'm worried about that, because with the gate being knocked down, that means something happened. And I'm glad to see the dog. The dog is usually kind of like a guard dog. He barks if he sees people. But I did just see some lady or somebody reach in and close the flap of the tent. So that means someone's inside there, which makes me feel good. But the gate being down like that. It's not right. Some not quite correct. So I'll find out. And yeah, so if I take you through the village area where the houseless live, there's a lot of people in there. And I went in there earlier and I talked to them. You know, I sat in there and talked to them. Um, and they were happy to see me. And one thing that's really important is to go in and pray. You know, go in and pray for people, for their needs, because they really do have needs. I mean, you know, they need food, they need water, they need medical care, they need transportation, they need to have a permanent house that they can afford. They have family problems, or, you know, relational problems. And most importantly is they just need the love of Christ in their heart. So I'm happy about that, that I can get in there and talk to people. Here comes the lady. I saw her fall down. This lady here, she fell down when she was walking. Hey, you feeling okay? Yeah. Okay, I saw you fall down a few weeks ago, but you're okay. Yeah, I'm all right. That's good. I'm happy to see you. Thank you too. Yeah. There you go. Now, they live right next to where we do the church service here. We do the church service here with chairs and these tables. And so they hear the church service all the time. But they've been the friendship has been growing. The first few times we were here, they didn't really say much. They didn't say anything, actually. And then they started to kind of break down a bit. And they started talking. And now they're very friendly, you know. There's a man in there and a woman. Not sure, you know, their relationship. They're together. So yeah, that's the situation. And today I actually I'll finish here about 12, and then around 2 o'clock, I have the van taking me down to Walmart, and I'm gonna get some food down there, so, and bring it back home. So I have 2 to 5. I have an appointment outside, and then maybe having a phone call with somebody in Hong Kong this afternoon. So all good. I just thought I'd let you know. Again, I'll show you the camp. These are actually the nicer places that people live in along here. There's some inside the camp that are very, very basic, like a bit big, like a 10-foot by 10-foot tent, and that's it, you know. And they live in that. And then they kind of add on to their tent with tarps and wooden pallets, and they separate themselves so they have an area where, you know, they can call it their own space. They separate themselves with the pallets. I'm going to show you around one more time. And, you know, I'm happy. What's most important here is that I got accepted in here. As far as I know, I'm the service I'm doing, we're the only one that's inside this place. They're outside. They come over some groups and they allow them in. But as far as the church service goes, as far as I know, we're the only ones. And you know, they have to really allow it, because they have to allow it, because if they don't, then they're against you. You know, and that's not good. They all know each other, and you can kind of see. I'm going to show you and they only have those toilets there. There's a girl who lives here. It was interesting because I met 4 children. They were probably around 10 years old. And I met them early. I know them. I knew 2 of them really well. And they were playing, you know. They didn't know about the sport outreach going on nearby, which is really well run. And the sport outreach told me that they charge $10 to plead that for the children to sign up for it. And they meet every Saturday. And he said some of the people don't have the money, supposedly, right? Or they don't want to pay the money. So that's something that needs prayer, because that should not be the case. You know, the kids should be able to come in. But anyway, I'll work on that, you know. And there are a few people here who just don't have money, but probably it's just very few people. Most people get food stamps, and they figure out how to get money to survive. But anyway, I'll work on that. So I'm in just a camp area. So here's you see, we normally have the church service there. And again, the way I look at it, I did the church service. The Lord told me to come and do the church service, and I did. And I was the only one here, but he brought 3 women over and sat down at the second table right behind me. And I told them I'm going to go ahead and sing, and I'm going to do a church service for just me. And I did it. And they were, I could tell it had an impact on them. So I was happy about that. And sometimes, you have to do something, you and the Lord. That's the way it works. And everybody's like, oh, you need a big group. You need to have everything real organized, professional. Hey, not really. With the Lord, without the Lord, you have nothing. I can tell you that right now, regardless of what you have. And we don't come in here and, like give them things. We give them the gospel, the message of Christ, and we give them prayer. Okay? We pray for their needs, and we give them the message of Christ. And then once in a while we have food, we have clothing, but that's not the focus, because, the Lord has told us to, as we're able, to help people, the widows, the homeless, the children in need, as we're able to do it. We're not always able to do it because for whatever reason, God hasn't opened that door financially or with needs. But even though that is happening, and I believe we need to have the right focus. So I came over and did the church service. I was real happy. It worked out fine. I did the best I could with what I had to work with. And everybody here knows me as Pastor Bob. The people here know me. And, this goes back. This is a big area full of homeless. Before, they had about 230 people here, and they probably had 35 or 40 children. But I don't think they're having that now, that number. I think that their number is much smaller, including the children. And I don't really know where they went. They've set up an area up on the mountainside, a new area. But I don't think it's got a lot of people up there, just a handful of people up on the mountainside. And I've got to meet with the person who kind of set this all up this week. I've known her name is Twinkle. I've known her for about 4 years now, something like that. I first met her probably 4 or 5 years ago, and we've stayed in contact. So isn't this a beautiful area right here? Look how clean it is. It's dirt, but look how clean it is. Everything, there's no junk, there's no garbage on the ground, nothing like that. The people here really take pride in how they live. And later on, I'm hoping we can go over later, but I won't be able to do a video of it where the other group is, because I want to bring the 2 other team leaders over there to introduce them and to show them what is happening there. And, I don't want to pull out a camera and video that they don't know me. Well, they know me, but some of them do, but, just not the right time for that. And it says here, bring your own toilet paper, wash hands before and after, clean up, please. And they don't really have toilets here. That's it. As far as I know, they may be inside the camp. The camp goes back 200 yards in all directions. So it's a big camp, maybe 100. Yeah, I would say 200 yards, and it goes back. And I haven't seen any other toilets besides these. So as far as I know, those are the only toilets. I've seen people coming and going, and the water, they have to get water from over there. They have behind the cars, this is a harbor where they catch fish, and they actually clean their fish over there, and they have water spigots. That's where they get their water. They put them in big containers, like 5 or 10 gallon containers, and they pull them in a cart because they're really heavy. And the people who live here bring it back. They don't have running water here at all. They had a fire in the camp maybe 6 months ago or 9 months ago, and it wasn't, it could have been very dangerous because it's very dry here, and it could have wiped out this place, and it didn't. And from that point on, they were able to get fire extinguishers and put them around different parts of the of the camp, and they were asking for people who wanted to donate to do that, and they were able to get some. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, so that's the situation. And the people, the difference, even though if you're watching, you may say, oh, there's nobody there. People have been coming and going. Okay, children, men and women, all ages, they've been coming and going. But the difference is that now, and when the virus hit about sometime in mid-November here, and they closed the camp. This place was like a beehive of activity. There were people coming in from the outside, doing things to support them. There were many people walking by from who live here, and now you hardly see anybody. I don't know where they went, to be honest. I don't know what happened. I'm going to ask the leader when I see her, maybe on this later on this week. But that's a bit of a difference. So I'm not worried, because there's still people here, and some of the people who attended the church service, we had like the maximum we got was 30 people. And normally on the church service, we would have like 5 to 6 people who would come and sit here like a normal. And I really felt that they felt that this was church for them. And, but even those people I haven't seen, the ones that were regularly coming. And I'm like, where did they go? What happened to them? And, there were 5 people in the camp who actually got the virus, but none of them ended up in the hospital, which I'm thankful for, because we were praying for them. And I'm seeing, I think our team leaders are coming. The other 2 team leaders are coming. We're going to pray. We're going to go in the camp. We're going to talk to people. We're going to keep building the relationship. I'm going to have a little bit of a chat with them about the circumstance. I think they're going to be happy with what I'm going to share with them. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to stop the video now. And in fact, I could, if you want, just leave the video going until they come, and I'll show you their happy faces. Okay? Would that be okay? And that would be, thank you, Lord, for this. And Sammy and Chucky, good friends of mine. Hey, is that Dino? Hey, Dino. I had church service. Dino's been coming, and we prayed for him. He got healed we had church service at 10:30. I was over here by myself singing, doing the Bible study. Hey, man. Good to see you. Yeah, it's just me. But Sammy and Chucky are coming.
So you can come.
Yeah, they're coming. But the live band, I'll go ahead and turn this off if you don't mind, and I'll talk to you. I think I saw, oh, there's a truck right there. Good to see you, man. So yeah, I did a Bible verses, and I can do it again. I did some singing, and you're welcome to join us. And we're having like a little bit of a meeting. Hi, dear. I was wondering where you were. I was hoping everything was okay.
It is.
I missed you.
Yeah. Why? What did you guys have?
I did the church service earlier, and now Chucky and Sammy are coming, and we're gonna do another church service probably. You're welcome to come, but go back and you're healthy. You didn't. The virus was okay.
Virus is okay. My hand is infected. You'll
Okay.
get tired with pus. So I gotta get that taken care of. It hurts bad.
Right. Well, I'll pray for you. You want me to pray for? Yeah. Okay. All right. Don't worry. We'll come always. Church is in your heart, dear. So anyway, it's good to see you. How's your ankles doing? Okay. So they're coming. Let me go talk to them for a second. I'll just tell them, because they're going to bring over a lot of stuff. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Grab a seat. Let me introduce. So I didn't want to show you the faces, because it's a bit unfair to put someone on a video and they're not expecting it. So you could hear what I was saying, and then I'm going to tell them. Hey, ladies. It was good. All good. We're doing a live video, and you don't need to set out a lot, but bring some things, because we can have a chat.
Yeah. Come on, baby.
Yeah. And anyway, they're bringing over the clothing and stuff. And I'll let them, that's their responsibility. So I'm going to let them do whatever they feel they need to do. And so, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to let you go, all of you. Thanks for watching. And we're at the Houseless camp in Waiʻanae, Hawaii Boat Harbor. And I hope that feel free to make a comment. I'm doing this on my telephone, so take care.